Hello and welcome to our final It's Tea Time for the fall semester. And I'm your host, Jonathan Sellers, joined by the Director of Athletics for Troy University. And the talk right now is the new hire. And I know it's an exciting time over there in the athletics department, and I'll let you go ahead and talk about him.
Sure, Jonathan, and we are very, very excited about having Neil Brown on board as the new head coach of our Troy Trojan football team. And, just in the first, I guess officially now, it's been about 30 hours that he's been on board. He's hit the ground running. His excitement and enthusiasm are contagious. They really are. And, one of his catchphrases, if you will, is "bring it every day." Mm-hmm. And he certainly is bringing it, and has the expectation that those around him bring it. And he said it's about competing every day to win. It's not just about the 12 Saturdays that we have regular season games. He said every day building up to that is part of that equation. So it was a tremendous process. An exciting process, at times a tiring process, but certainly the end result, I think folks are extremely pleased with. Early on, he won the press conference yesterday,
right,
certainly,
exactly.
And now we'll take advantage of this honeymoon period, because as I told him, hey, we have 9 months till you have to play a game, and you potentially have one in the loss column, so we need to take advantage of that. In fact, I just came from down on the Troy City Square, and he was visiting businesses down there, meeting folks, handing out autographed pictures, and he totally gets it. That's one of the things. He was born and raised in a small community. He understands the importance of getting everyone bought in and invested in the program. He's spent some time out on campus the last 2 days, whether it be in the quad or in the dining hall or in the student union. So he is creating a very positive buzz that we're excited about.
Well, and I know a lot of fans are familiar with him. He was here during the start of the 5 straight conference championships. He was here for 4 of them before he left to go on to Texas Tech. And that was really during the height of the success. You weren't here during that time, but how familiar were you with his tenure here?
Well, certainly looking back and seeing the success, and not even having to get down into the weeds of the detail of just how successful in the top 5 offense rankings in the country in terms of FBS teams, but looking at the bowl games and certainly the conference championships, and doing it here. Then at a very young age, he was the youngest youngest coordinator on either side of the ball in FBS at that time at age 27, and then carrying it on to Texas Tech, and they had great success in Lubbock there, and really in a little different way than what Mike Leach's offense did. When Tommy Tuberville followed Mike Leach there and changed the offense a little bit, and Neil had the reins of the offense there and was very successful for a 3-year tenure. And then, and this was a very defining moment in our interview process. He talked about, as he was transitioning, as he was looking at other opportunities from Texas Tech, he actually interviewed for 2 head jobs at the age of 32, 2 years ago, one being at Southern Miss and the other one being at Louisiana Tech. And really finished as the runner-up, if you will, both of those places. But as he said, he took it as a real learning experience, that it was a case where, although he thought he was ready at that time, that he really wasn't, and the opportunity to work the last 2 years as the offensive coordinator on Mark Stoops' staff at Kentucky has proved invaluable, because as he talks about the guys that shaped him, and certainly Tony Franklin was one of those guys early. And then when Tony left here with Larry, and he said, hey, with Larry, when I was the offensive coordinator, I had total autonomy in terms of calling plays, making decisions, recruiting from a recruiting standpoint on the offensive side of the ball. He said, I go to Texas Tech with Tommy Tuberville. have the same autonomy. He said, hey, I had total control of the offense, total control of recruiting decisions on the offensive side of the ball. And then I step into the situation with Mark Stoops, which was really invaluable in his mind, because he said, I still had the autonomy. I called the plays, made recruiting decisions. He said, however, as opposed to Larry and Tommy Tuberville's style, which was a whole lot alike and was kind of a hands-off approach, and I'm going to let you handle it, he said that Mark Stoops was much more inquisitive and involved. Not that he didn't let Neil make the final decisions, but that it made Neil think a whole lot more about what he was doing and why he was doing it, and helped him grow as a coach. And he talked about taking things from, whether it was what he learned from Tony or learned from Larry or learned from Tuberville or from Mark Stoops. He said, hey, the person I am today and the coach I am today, I've taken things that I will do and things that I won't do from all of those guys and kind of molded those. And certainly we're excited about the future.
Well, and I'm guessing you were probably there for his meeting with the players on Monday morning. What was that like? What was the players' reception like?
You know, they were very attentive to him. A little bit, you know, because most of those guys, other than knowing, hey, he was the offensive coordinator at Kentucky and they run a wide open offense, they didn't know a whole lot about him.
Right.
And you know, to look across the room at the faces after I introduced Neil, he quickly got their attention and you know, talked about the changes that were going to take place and the accountability and the discipline. And you know, probably the most telling tale is at the end of the meeting, he said, you know, we're going to break now. And he said, on three. And I won't say the phrase because I don't know if he wants that out there. But they said it. And he said, that's weak. That's real weak. And he said, y'all either want to be here or you don't. Now let's see who wants to be here, and did it again. So just some things like that. You know, I know they had a brief conditioning period this morning, which is really the last day they could do that since today's the last day of regular classes before exams start. So he brings you know, it's an interesting combination because he brings a very business-like approach that is intertwined with a whole lot of passion. Right. So I really like the combination.
And something you mentioned at the press conference and then he has talked about is assembling his staff and how important that's going to be. We already know three guys are going to be on it, and they're going to be retained from the current staff, and that's Edenfield, Wasden, and Reagan, and all guys who had worked with him in his previous time here. But there's still the whole defensive side of the ball and some more offensive. How important is that step?
Yeah, it's really important, and he and I have been working really since Saturday evening on those pieces, and there's still some moving parts to that. And obviously, with Neil's expertise and the vast majority of his experience on the offensive side of the ball, and then having those guys that you mentioned, Kenny and Shane and Sean, although their roles may change from what they were under Coach Blakeney's staff, but he's comfortable with that side. So his real focus right now is on the defensive side of the ball, and really three targets, if you will, trying to put all those pieces together. The likelihood of us having all three of those targets isn't great. It could still happen, but probably two of those three would be tremendous. And you know, he's getting close on those, and hopefully here in the next week, those pieces will come together. And again, I thought a very mature statement that he made yesterday. It's more important to get it right than it is to get it done. Right. I mean, he doesn't want to rush to do something to make sure, just for the sake of getting it done. And certainly with those three guys able to, the carryover guys being able to be out on the road recruiting right now, that provides a great asset. And I would anticipate probably at least 2 more joining our staff prior to the end of the week.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned recruiting briefly. I mean, that's the next step. He's got to add some players, add talent, and I mean, he's got to hit the road running. We lose some guys when you announce that a coach is stepping down, but how important is it for him to get out there quickly and try to get those guys back?
Yeah, it's really important, and certainly he's got some relationships and ties, not only from when he was here at Troy, but certainly recruiting for Texas Tech and for Kentucky in the state, in the area, in the region. You know, and again, Kenny and Sean and Shane have some of those relationships too, and certainly the remainder of the staff that he's looking to assemble has great relationships too. And you know, regardless of what institution those other guys may be at, they've got personal contacts with high school coaches and certainly with potential recruits that I think are going to benefit us, and I think we're going to be fine from a you know, from a signing date standpoint. Yeah, it's you know, about 2 months away, but the good news is, hey, folks know who our leader is going to be, and some of the staff, and it will continue to assemble, and so that whole air of uncertainty about, you know, who's the head coach going to be, or you know, what type of offense is going to be run. Those questions have been answered, and you know, in the next few days when we get our defensive staff assembled, those answers will happen too. So I feel really good about recruiting.
And for those who may not be familiar, you can't just go out and talk to these kids from now until signing day. What is kind of that timeline of when you can talk to them, when you can't, and then signing day?
Sure, you've got, and I don't have the exact dates, but you've got probably another 10 days prior to the Christmas holidays where you can visit. Then there's a dead period that really lasts until after the coaches convention, which is in early January, and then obviously from, I think it's like the 13th, 14th of January on until signing day is going to be where the real crunch time is going to be from a signing day. And there are some guys right now that they're pursuing in this current 10-day period that may be a couple of mid-year guys, whether they graduate from high school early, you know, some opportunities there to get some immediate help in. And I know the immediate needs that they've identified are both the offensive and defensive lines, as well as the defensive secondary are vital needs, and maybe a linebacker or two in there. So those are the immediate needs, and if they can find 2 or 3 guys, you know, mid-year folks to go ahead and plug in to there, that would be great. And otherwise, the remainder of the focus will be on getting a strong class to sign early February.
I know we keep on alluding back to the press conference, but another thing he said at that press conference that really captured me was if he can get somebody to this campus, he thinks he can get them to sign in Troy. And he really powerful in saying that it's not about the facilities, it's about those relationships you build.
Sure, and you know, prior to Sunday evening, Neil said it had really been since 2009, early 2010 that he had been on campus, and he was blown away. You know, obviously the dining facility and Trojan Village and the alumni hall that's under construction and the basketball arena and things like that. So you know, he was very impressed with that. In fact, made the comment, and there's a lot of truth to this. He said, "She looks like about the only thing we don't have is this north end zone building," which we are working diligently, and certainly that's going to come to fruition sooner than later. So excited about that. And you know, the other thing, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday in the press conference, that was really powerful to me is how he talked about the chip on his shoulder. That is a very positive thing, that is a driving force each and every day. You know, and he said it goes back again to a small town mentality and being a guy that, you know, hey, maybe wasn't supposed to play at the SEC level, too small, too slow, can't do it. And he said, you know, I've always been told I can't do it. And he said, that just drives me to be that much more successful. And then talked about it in his coaching career, you know, at Troy, you can't do it. You don't have enough resources. Well, yeah, we did it. And then going to Texas Tech, and yeah, there are a whole lot more resources at Texas Tech than maybe there are at Troy, but relatively speaking, within the Big 12, Texas Tech, you know, is right there at the bottom in terms of budgets. And he said we did it there, and certainly Texas, Kentucky, while, and I think I said this yesterday as well, basketball, they funnel all the money they need in there, but their football program is funded probably in the bottom third of the SEC. But again, finding a way to do it. And I know some people may say, well, what do you mean finding a way to do it? They went 5-7 this year. But you look where that program was 2 years ago when Mark Stoops took it over, and the progress that they've made, and especially on the offensive side of the ball. The guy has a tremendous track history of being successful, not only being successful, but continuing to build on those successes on an annual basis. And I certainly look forward to him taking our baseline of Troy football right now and continuing to build it into bigger and better things.
Well, I know there's just a lot of excitement now, and I know dates probably haven't been set yet, but are we looking forward to those coming for spring football and the T-Day game coming soon? Yeah,
that's one of the things. We're going to get back together this afternoon and visit on some of those things, trying to get those locked in. And again, he's got so many things going on. His, the other thing I'll say, not only is Neil Brown a tremendous addition to the Troy football, the Troy athletics, the Troy University family, but certainly he and his wife Brooke and their 2 girls and the son that is on the way in mid-February will be tremendous assets to the city of Troy too, and to our community. They've already hit the ground running. Another, as I keep thinking about positive characteristics, and they're countless that he has, his attention to detail and his planning. And he said, hey, that my daughter's Adeline, who is 6, and Ansley, who is 4, or almost 4. He goes, they were born in mid-February, and our son is going to be born mid-February. And he said, that's not by happenstance. He said, I've got it planned to where we have children after signing day so that I can spend a little bit of time with them. And I just kind of chuckled at that. But again, the guy is for somebody 34 years old, he is mature off the charts. Obviously, he's been a coordinator in the Sun Belt, in the Big 12, in the SEC for the last 7 years. His attention to detail and the ability to see the big picture of things like a CEO is extremely impressive. You look at the fact he has an MBA from UMass. He's not your typical down in the dirt football coach. He's more cerebral thinking, and you think of guys like Mike Leach, who has a law degree, and some of those guys that are just brilliant off the charts, and certainly Neil fits that mold.
Well, and going ahead and building off that excitement, it's not too early to buy those season tickets. They're already out there available to purchase. Yeah,
we wanted to make sure that we capture the excitement, capture the momentum. You can go on our website, www.troytrojans.com. There's a link there to buy 2015 season tickets. Great idea as a Christmas gift or stocking stuffer. So go online and get those now. And just like we did yesterday in the press conference, we're having a call to arms right now, not just from a season ticket standpoint, but those folks who have the ability to give to help us towards our North End Zone project and to take us to that next level. Because certainly we feel the leaders in place now with Neil Brown as the head coach, and the highest levels of success are also obtained with resources too. So Steve Stroud and our external staff and myself, I'll be out some too, coming knocking and trying to get folks on board to get engaged both financially and emotionally with our program, because we feel the sky's the limit.
Well, I know it's an exciting time, and I'm already ready for spring football.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Jonathan.
Well, thank you, and stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. And welcome back to It's Tea Time, and we're here with the assistant basketball coach for the Trojans, and that's Coach Marcus Grant. And Coach, I know disappointing loss last time out against Southern Miss. You were back and forth all game long, but just came out on the losing end. What was the difference in that ball game?
Turned the ball over too much at the end of the ball game. Like I said, played a really good basketball game. Offensively, probably our best game of the season as far as executing. But just got a little careless down the stretch. And when you're playing good teams on the road, you can't afford to have those type of mistakes. So we'll take it as a learning experience, and hopefully we'll get better from it.
Well, and it's something, as you said, a learning experience, and we've talked about the youth of this team. I mean, is that something that y'all have worked on and can move forward from?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's part of the game. You know, the kid, they didn't mean to turn the basketball over, but it's part of the game.
Right.
But it's something that you got to limit if you're going to win basketball games on the road. Southern Miss had a 35-game non-conference winning streak, and we had a great opportunity to break that. You know, but just one careless mistake, couple careless mistakes at the end cost us that. You know, so we'll learn from it and we'll get better.
You'll be back at home for the next few games, starting Tuesday night against Alcorn State, and Alcorn State's a pretty good opponent. What do you know about the team?
Very familiar with them. They're a fast-paced team, have really good guards. Their shooting guard, LeAntoine Luckett, he's preseason player of the year in that conference, so we'll have our work cut out trying to stop him. Then they have an inside guy, Marquise Vance, who's also an all-conference player. So those two guys are the keys to their team. So we're focusing on trying to shut those guys down and limit the other role players.
Now, if they're a faster-paced team, are y'all going to try to keep pace with them, or are y'all going to try to slow things down? What we did?
Well, no, we're going to be opportunistic. You know, if we have the advantage, we'll take advantage. But if not, then we'll slow down and try to execute our offensive sets and make those guys guard. You know, make them guard for extended periods because they don't want to guard, you know, for too long because they want to run. So like I said, we'll be opportunistic, but we'll also be patient on the offensive end.
And then going to this weekend, you've got another matchup against Central Arkansas at home. What do you know about that team?
Good team. I mean, they got a new coach, new players, so they're still in the filling out process. You know, but still a good basketball team. So like I said, we have 2 games at home this week that we really need to lock in and take care of business to get us back on the right track. So we're looking forward to doing that.
And how important is it to have these home games, especially, it's kind of crunch time, not just with basketball, but especially academically right now at the end of the semester?
Yeah, very important. Like I said, we start final exams on Thursday, you know, so you're trying to mix in basketball games with the guys finishing up strong academically. So it's really, really important, you know, to have these games at home and to have the guys in a comfort zone where they can perform well on and off the court.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck in the 2 games, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. And welcome back to our final look at Troy sports, and we're going to talk some women's basketball with the head coach, Coach Rigby. And Coach, since the last time we talked to you, you got 2 wins on the board, and wins over Southeastern Louisiana, and then a win over Florida A&M. Talk about those 2 wins.
We were so excited to get those wins. Southeastern was our first home game. Right. We had a great crowd at home, a midday game with all the kids got in free. And that was a thriller because we were trailing the entire game, and we were actually down by 20 points with 6.5 minutes to go and came back and won. So if you saw the whole first 3/4 of the game, it was pretty bad, but at the end it made up for it. All's well that ends well, so we got the win. Then we went on the road to FAMU, a tough fought win there as well.
Yeah, I know a buzzer beater is always exciting, a great one for the fans, and then another win. But came back home, faced Savannah State, a game where you got off to a great start, but then they kind of just chipped away at the lead and came out with the victory. What happened in that game?
At the beginning of the game, we started off as well as I've ever seen us play. We scored 26 minutes in the first 8 minutes of the game. So if you do the math there, we were on track to score 130 points in that game if we could just keep that momentum, but we kind of went to sleep a couple times on defense. They got to go on a run. Things went back and forth. We had a chance to win at the end, and we lost it. We feel like that's one we're really going to regret that got away from us.
And I know one player you talked about was Renita Garrett last time, really on a roll, doubles.
Yes.
We're hoping to see every game, but she missed one game, but I believe 5 of 6 games she's
Five
averaged.
of the 6 games she's had a double-double, and I believe she's leading the Sun Belt Conference in rebounding.
So, I mean, she's just continued to step up that play. What about other players? I saw Ashley Beverly Kelly came off the bench last game, but ended up scoring 22 points. And what was the thought in doing that?
Well, she was instrumental. In the second half, she had 18 points in that game.
Right.
And we want her to come off and play like that. When she's on the floor, play that way all the time.
Right.
She has the ability. And we thought maybe, coming off the bench, it would give her that fire. And in the second half, she did definitely have the fire. We've got to put 2 halves together with her, and she's going to be one of the best Sun Belt Conference players.
All right, and then you've got an opportunity to kind of redeem yourself after the Savannah State loss, playing Sanford. Sanford coming off a big win over Penn State just the other day. So they may have that momentum. What do you got to do to shut that down?
Well, if you're a basketball fan, you're going to want to come be at Trojan Arena to see Sanford play. They are so smart. They can hit the 3. And if you go out on the perimeter to guard their 3, they do a lot of back cutting. They're just a really smart 5-out motion basketball team. we've got to step up our game on defense and be a lot smarter. Nobody can go to sleep. The person that goes to sleep or even blinks, they get back cut and they score on you. So it's going to be a great game. We want to use our athleticism against them and get them in the running game and force the ball to the rim.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck in that game. Hopefully a big crowd. It's Wednesday night, 7
Yes,
o'clock
7
in Trojan
o'clock.
Arena, so hopefully a big crowd will show up for you.
Thank you.
All right, and join us again next time for more on It's Tea Time.